We have old friends here, Nick Wright and Zach Berman, and on our way over here, Nick, you were kind enough to wait for us. Zach is combing through his email, and what do you have, Zach?
I found. You'll hold it. Okay. I found notes from my tape review back in 2006. Bo couldn't believe these were it was probably an 800-word email you did. I did a random July Phillies baseball game, and you did the whole review for me. Tell me what I needed to improve and everything.
Well, so Zach, I've known Zach since for 20 years now. It's unbelievable. And there's at Syracuse doing radio. So obviously a ton of people come through, and Zach was one of 3 guys that I knew definitively, if he wanted to, would make his living in sports media. The other 2, I was 3 for 3 on my picks. It was him, Andrew Filipponi, who now does afternoons in Pittsburgh and is like Mr. Pittsburgh, and Danny Parkins, who now hosts mornings on FS1, but did afternoon Chicago forever, and Zach, who right after college I think was writing for the New York Times, and then the Washington Post, and then and everything, and has I followed Zach, and I haven't talked a ton, but I followed every step of his career. It's unbelievable.
I am so.
That sounds like that's on you, Zach.
What?
Eagles fans know. Well, no. Nick changed his number back in 2020.
That is true. That is true. That's a bad job on me. That is true.
But I'm like Nick's biggest defender in Philly. I got to say that, and we'll get.
That's a tough job to have,
bro. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But the Nick Wright story I always tell is my first time doing a post-game show. It was with Nick. I was the co-host. Nick was the host, and I'm nervous out of my mind. Okay, and Nick is like literally the best talk radio host you can imagine. And I have hours of preparation for the show. I'm going to practice. I'm doing all this, and I get there, and Nick's like, "Don't worry, it's Syracuse-Colgate game." And Nick starts the show with a 4-minute monologue about something that happened with Eric Diefendorf the night before that I was not familiar with. And I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea what to say.
So funny.
No idea what to say. He was the best then, he's the best now.
Well, that's very nice. Yeah. And despite all that, Philly hates me.
Yeah.
But such is life. Listen, I understand Philadelphia Eagles fans and Niners fans and Bills fans' angst, because they all feel like if not for this one team, we might be the team going for a dynasty. The Niners feel like they'd have a couple Super Bowls. The Eagles here in 72 hours are going to have 0 and are going to feel like they should have a couple. And the Bills feel like they should have 4. It's not fair, but it just is what it is. And there's nothing wrong with second place. There's 32 teams. 30 of them would love to be able to play in this game. And this is the other thing I'll say to all the Eagles. Listen, it's a great roster. And I was way wrong on Saquon. He's having maybe the best season of any running back ever, all of it. All of these guys forever, for the rest of their lives, whether they're big-time players, role players, whatever, are going to be immortalized as being part of the films that are made about the three-peat. They're going to be on the field. You're going to see them. You're going to be like, oh, man, there's Jalen Carter. Like, that maybe propelled him to a new level. Like, that's special. That's something. Like, Byron Russell gets remembered. Like, something.
Here's my framing. Maybe the only way to take down the best team in modern history, the dynasty, is with a team from a bygone era. A team that is built from 1980s,
Before
1970s.
the forward pass?
Basically. And maybe that's the only way to take them down.
Yeah. No, listen, you guys can win. I'm not like...
It's all weighted coin flips.
You guys can win. I think it is going to be very, very hard to beat this team, because I think that it's a combination of the healthiest they've ever been, playing the best they've played at any point in the year. And I'm a little concerned on Philly's behalf, how healthy are Juergens and Dickerson? I know they're both full at practice or whatever, but that is like dealing with Chris Jones all games is a problem. But Mike Caliendo dealing with Jalen Carter, or what's the other D-tackle? Milton Williams. Dealing with him could be a problem too. Should be a great game. The issue for Philly is no one can blow the Chiefs out. It's impossible. And if it's a close game, you feel like, well, the Chiefs are going to win. So it's just like they're just a hard team to beat. And listen, Philly has the pieces to do it if the quarterback plays great. And I know that sounds facile or whatever, but no one has gone for 90 yards against the Chiefs in the playoffs from running back since Spagnuolo's been there. That's 6 years. Even if Saquon breaks that, I don't think he's going to have 160. And so it's going to. Can Jalen do what he did in the last Super Bowl? He hasn't done it in a single game since then. If he can, you guys can win. I don't think he can, and I don't think you'll win. But
Jack, you get to be the Saquon guy because you've been the Saquon guy from the beginning. You tell me if you think he can do it.
Well, no one's been able to stop Saquon all year, right? And so I saw what James Cook did against Kansas City. I think that's where the vulnerability is in that Chiefs defense. The Eagles' offensive line has been the best offensive line all year. Saquon, if he played Week 17, would have broken the record. I'm sorry, Week 18 would have broken the record. Now, I'm not convinced that the Eagles are going to run the ball as much as they have all year. I think Jalen's going to try to be unleashed a little bit more. But yeah, Saquon, no one's been able to stop Saquon.
So totally correct. Listen, what's he, 130 yards per game now for almost 20 games, in 19 games. It's remarkable. The James Cook thing the difference I would say is, I felt like the Chiefs went into that game saying,
Let him.
If James Cook beats us, James Cook beats us. We're not going to let Josh Allen beat us. I think it's going to be the opposite in this game. I think you're going to get a lot of one-on-ones with AJ and Devontae. And listen, look, it's the second best pair of receivers, maybe the best. I think second best pair of receivers in the league. The sneaky most important player on your offense, obviously Saquon's most important, but that's why I said sneaky, is Goddard. The one spot the Chiefs have stunk at all year is covering tight ends. So can he have a big game? And it's like 4 plays. Can Jalen make 4 high-leverage plays? And what makes you guys so annoying is 3rd and 6, you might run the damn ball. You know what I mean? And that's such a hard thing to deal with is teams that unless it's 3rd and more than 7, you can't sell out for the pass, because you guys will run and be.
They like to run the ball on 3rd and 10.
Right. Yeah. Well, sure, and they're also not necessarily even trying to get a first. They're just trying to get within 2 yards so they can run their stupid rugby play. So yeah, no, you guys are a lot to deal with. The better the coach is, the more time to prepare, the better. The inverse of that's true as well. The more of a doofus the coach is, the more time, the worse. So I might have liked the Eagles in this spot if they could have played it with 1 game to prepare. But with 2 weeks, Andy Reid there, Sirianni somewhere else, I don't know.
All right, Nick.
Wait, real quick on Sirianni. If we're doing a post-game show back in college, and I tell you, there's a coach who in 4 years has made 2 Super Bowls, 4 double-digit win seasons, 4 playoff appearances, 3 double-digit win seasons, the winningest coach among the highest winning percentage among active coaches. What would you say about those numbers?
I know it sounds amazing. I can't figure it out because I just know in my bones the guy's a doofus. But you're right. Listen, wins and losses are a coaching stat. His resume is really unimpeachable, and yet
he was almost impeached by the team.
Correct. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, and yet it felt like he was a Week 5 loss away from being fired. It felt like whatever game it was when he screamed at his own fans against was that Cleveland?
Browns,
yeah. Felt like, man, if they lost that game, were they going to fire this guy? Maybe, and now it's flip side is he's 1 win away from, wait, is this guy going to be a Hall of Fame coach? I don't understand it, but it just keeps happening.
All right, Nick Wright, thank you so much. If the Eagles win this game, maybe we'll have you on to talk tennis another time.
I would love to. Zach, I should tell you this. I come to Philly all the time because it's the closest poker rooms to New York. So maybe, yes. So maybe sometime I'll come see you guys. Either way, great to see you, brother.
Great to see you, Nick. You too,
all right,
man.
see you guys. Thank you.
Great, awesome. Thank you so much.